So here I am, out on the streets with my head in my hands. I've got no plans, only to see you again. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I like being kicked on the ground. I'm not that strong, but then I come to my senses. Yeah, I'm coming. You can feel my power, and I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel don't be afraid. Don't do that man with the scar on his face. It's a charade. It's just the way you've been living. Yeah! I'm coming. You can feel my power. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me, yeah. And I
Hi everyone, Dan here, and I just wanted to put a little snippet about AstroWorld and what we do because I want to start getting the word out because I think it's becoming more and more of a giant community, and I want to get the word out to some other people. So what we do at AstroWorld is We hold astrophotography chats on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we just talk astrophotography. Wednesday's more of a techie kind of advanced intermediate, and Fridays is more of a newbie kind of thing. So if you want to check us out, and if you want to, hang out with some semi-decent people that like to go off the rails a little bit and have fun while they're doing it, come check us out at astroworldweb.com, and you can check out the schedule, and you can sign up for all the free giveaways that we do. We just gave away an Eagle 4 Pro, an Optilong filter kit, Charles Brackenstein's books, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So come to astroworldweb.com, hang out with us, have a good time, and as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Where did my color go? Got your head in the sand. You can't be in control using a powerful hand. I wanna be you, I wanna see you. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. You're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hide a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue, yeah. All right. Cat learns to ring a bell. Rat gets free from the maze. We can be taught to love. We've got to learn a new way. I wanna see you, I wanna be you. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. You're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, that little color is black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. Yeah. I wanna be, I wanna see, don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. Push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, that little color is black and white and blue. Yeah, black and white and blue. You're going black and white on the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, on my telescope now. Damn, what's wrong with this thing?
The lost Lone Ranger, can I break this spell? One thing right, I make two things wrong. If I want to stand my line, I'll always take the fall. If I just do step, I can hear from the right. I sleep all day long, and I'm breathing through the night. I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I've felt a lot of women refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take for your money whatever else spring. And I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. 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 Guitar Players Planet.
Are you ready for the next solar eclipse? October, annular eclipse. Oh. Don't let your glasses fall off when there's a solar eclipse. You might hurt yourself. Let's try that again. Are you ready for the next solar eclipse? Are you ready for it? October 14th this year is an annular eclipse, followed by April, another total solar eclipse, and you can get your own branded AstroWorld telescope solar glasses made by American Paper Optics today on the website, astroworldtelescopes.com, or give me a call, 516-273-3771, and we could get you a set of 4 of these for $9.99. Come on down again, AstroWorldTelescopes.com, and keep imaging as long as you don't have a solar shade on. Keep educating in clear skies, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of the new. Oh, na 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 na. That I have lost my old friend. Got the sunset on the highway again. Then I get lost on a long summer day. I must go back before it's too late. You're afraid, you're feeling alone. Time and space can never unfold. The holidays can ring in your fear. The ghost embrace can only mean tears. And I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to lands of blue. Oh, na 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 na. It's gotta mean something. It's gotta. So here I am, out on the streets with my head in my hands. I've got no plans, only to see you again. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I like being kicked on the ground. I'm not that strong, but then I come to my senses. Yeah! I'm coming, you can feel my power. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel
that man with the scar on his face. It's a charade. It's just the way you've been living. Yeah! I'm coming. You can feel my power. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel what is real when she feels me. And I feel what is real when she feels me. Yeah. And I feel.
Hi everyone, Dan here, and I just wanted to put a little snippet about AstroWorld and what we do because I want to start getting the word out because I think it's becoming more and more of a giant community, and I want to get the word out to some other people. So what we do at AstroWorld is we hold astrophotography chats on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we just talk astrophotography. Wednesday's more of a techie kind of advanced intermediate, and Fridays is more of a newbie kind of thing. So if you want to check us out, and if you want to, hang out with some semi-decent people that like to go off the rails a little bit and have fun while they're doing it, come check us out at astroworldweb.com, and you can check out the schedule, and you can sign up for all the free giveaways that we do. We just gave away an Eagle 4 Pro, an Optolong filter kit, Charles Brackenstein's books, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So come to astroworldweb.com, hang out with us, have a good time, and as always, remember to keep imaging, keep educating, and clear skies. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Where did my color go? Got your head in the sand. You can't be in control using a powerful hand. I wanna be ya, I wanna see ya. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. You're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, hot little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue, yeah. All right. Yeah. Cat learns to ring a bell. Rat gets free from the maze. We can be taught to love. We've got to learn to wait. I wanna see you, I wanna be you. Don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. Yeah, you're gonna push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. Yeah. I wanna be, I wanna see, don't taste the kisses of hate. Don't try to tell me, don't try to sell me, don't try to say it's too late. Push me to the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Yeah, black and white and blue. You're going black and white on the edge, back me in a corner, making me stand in your shoes. Push me to the edge, add a little color, it's black and white and blue. Black and white and blue. What the hell's wrong with my telescope now? Damn, what's wrong with this thing?
The lost Lone Ranger, can I break this spell? You want things right, who I make you do things wrong. If I want to stand my line, who I will always take the fall. If I just do them, why you leave from the right? I sleep all day long, and I'm dreaming through the night. bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all of the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I felt a lot of women refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fires going on in South LA. The muckers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take for your money and whatever else spring. And I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. 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 Guitar Players Planet.
Are you ready for the next solar eclipse? October, annular eclipse. Oh. Don't let your glasses fall off when there's a solar eclipse. You might hurt yourself. Let's try that again. Are you ready for the next solar eclipse? Are you ready for it? October 14th this year is an annular eclipse, followed by April, another total solar eclipse, and you can get your own branded AstroWorld telescope solar glasses made by American Paper Optics today on the website, astroworldtelescopes.com, or give me a call, 516-273-3771, and we can get you a set of 4 of these for $9.99. Come on down again, astroworldtelescopes.com, and keep imaging as long as you don't have a solar shade on. Keep educating in clear skies, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way the music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the lands of the new. Oh, na 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 na.
And sorry about that, guys. All right, it wasn't perfect. There we go. And we'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. And there we go.
You got names right over. We spaces.
Yeah, I guess I didn't do that, so I'll just do this. Here we go. So I got the names there and everything, and
there you go.
There you go. Awesome. So how's it going, everybody? Saturday afternoon, and we don't do this a lot, but it's it's 2:00 Eastern time, and I believe it's 8-ish over in the Netherlands with where Wido is. And we want to thank Wido for coming on and joining us. I got to throw it out there to a couple members that kind of, I believe, hit you up. I think it was Gideon Sanders. I think maybe introduced us. Yeah. So thank you to Gideon for introducing the two of us. And we're here with Wido Oerlemans from the Netherlands, from Wido's Astroform, and it's going to be a great time getting to learn about how his process and how his journey of astrophotography and changing into that lifestyle, because we all talk about that change, because everyone says call it a hobby. It's not a hobby. You change what you're doing because you're off. You're up till 3:00 in the morning. Yeah. The only thing you're happy about is that your significant other knows you're not at a bar. So
all the time. I see it all the time. My wife knows exactly where I am. She always knows.
It's a very safe midlife crisis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know how safe it is, because there's a lot of new toys coming out, because a lot of expensive toys.
Money involved can be a bit tricky. That's true.
It's instead of a Corvette, you're buying an astrophysics or a plane wave. So I mean, so
it could be worse.
It could be worse. But hey, Wido, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us. It's a real privilege to have you, and it's going to be great to learn about your process. And I'm sure we got a bunch of questions coming on. We got about 20 people watching on YouTube right now, and we're here. So welcome, Wido. How's it going?
It's going very well, thank you. And Dan, super nice to invite you to your AstroWorld. I'm glad to be here and glad to be part of the show. And we just had this March now, and we finally had our first week of clear skies in the Netherlands. So I'm great. I finally could test a new wireless rig I have been building and testing out. So I'm so super happy with that. And I'm glad to tell you a little bit about astrophotography, how I got into the hobby, like you said, and the kind of things I did, the kind of astrophotography gear I used, photos I took. So whatever you want to do is fine with me.
Yeah. So why
answering questions if I know the answer to the questions. So.
Yeah, everybody throw some questions in the chat for us to keep the conversation going, or else we're gonna have to count on Eric's questions, and we don't know where that goes. So it's kind of like the unknown comedian with the garbage.
Two difficult questions.
Trust me, I'm prepped. No, I'm kidding.
What's the square root of -1? No, just
yeah.
So,
pi.
Yeah.
Yes,
pi 3.1.147.
Good enough. You win. You win.
I'm not a nerd.
Okay, so first off, we have Dan asking, "What's your favorite type of telescope?"
Very difficult question. I like many different kinds of telescopes, but I think one of the most multi-purpose telescopes I bought was I have to say the Edge HD 8-inch telescope. And it's not because it will provide you with APOD pictures, I think, but you can have like a very decent, if you buy it with a 0.7 reducer, you have this nice 1500 millimeter focal length telescopes, which you can aim at smaller objects in the night sky. For instance, we are now entering spring. So from spring till June, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we will have galaxy season, right? So super nice to use the Edge HD to get some of these galaxies that are 100 million light years away, like M101 or M51. So that's super great, and you can also do it use it for some basic planetary imaging as well. So
Larry's already making fun of me. That they know that like reducers. reducers are fine for me with longer focal length telescopes, and everybody, it's like real estate though to me. I'm like, I don't want to give away 1 millimeter of anything especially when I'm dealing with a refractor sub 1,000 millimeter type stuff. I'm like, yeah, you could take it faster, but it doesn't matter to me because I'm in Bortle 9. So why?
Yeah. That's also, I was worried about that first. Like, I need to have a fast refractor telescope. But usually you end up with like a shorter focal length apochromatic refractors, which are great for capturing like vast nebulae in our own Milky Way. That's great. But at one point you get aperture fever.
Yep.
You're looking at that Pac-Man nebula, and you think, I want to have a higher resolution image. Or you're looking at that M51 Whirlpool Galaxy. You want to zoom in, and then you can have a longer focal length refractor. But at one point, they get really heavy.
Yeah, and
right?
that's a good point, because we were talking about that last night on the show. Last night we were talking about what is that sweet spot in weight. I guess it's relative, because some people are bodybuilders out there, and most people are like me, like no upper body strength at all. But I was thinking maybe like the 9 1/4 we were talking about was that kind of sweet spot as far as portability and focal length is concerned.
Yeah, I think you're about right. I think if you look at also the apochromatic refractors, they go to I'm calculating in millimeters, but they go to about 127, like 130 millimeters. There are some bigger ones out there, but I think when you get to 8-9 inch, people will switch. People will switch to I think a modified Schmidt-Cassegrain, or maybe also, what is it? A Ritchie Chrétien, for instance.
Yeah, the RCs. Yeah.
But, how do you pronounce it actually? But,
you sounded like you got it just right on.
Yeah, you got it just right.
You asked that question, you're going to get 4 different pronunciations on the show.
Will.
So,
we just call them RCs.
RCs.
Yeah.
Now you were saying, and we're talking about the Edge 8, and I also have an Edge 8. And I think it's great, but like Dan and I were talking yesterday, that sweet spot, the 9 1/4 for portability, do you think you would maybe want to have a little bit more reach? Do you think like, or do you have that, man? Because I know I have it. If I could have gotten the 9 1/4 when it was available, I would have just gotten the 9 1/4 and been done with it. But because of the pandemic,
there's also Eric, I think,
I got what I could.
I think because I also saw people that have a 9 1/4 and they want an 11. And people that have an 11 want maybe a 14.
People with the 11 go, I want a 14. Yeah,
I want a 14.
You know what? But it also depends on. Go ahead.
I think it depends on a lot of things. Trying to answer it a little bit more seriously, like I'm also from the Netherlands, so you have to take your budget into account as well, right?
Exactly.
So the 9 1/4 inch is a lot more expensive than the 8 inch. I would have liked to buy actually the 9 1/4 inch, but there is like the money aspect, and also I think weight, just carrying outside, setting it up. And I don't know exactly the differences from the top of my head, but I think like at one point also these modified Schmidt-Cassegrain telescopes, they get a lot heavier, right? So
they do.
The 8 inch, I really like it because I keep it inside. It weighs about 6-7 kilos. I can set it up.
Yep.
If I use it for deep sky astrophotography, I'm completely happy with that. I mean, 1500 millimeter focal length. I get very nice pictures of galaxies and some of the smaller nebulas. But for planetary imaging, definitely you want to have a bigger aperture and a longer focal length telescope to do some really high resolution imaging there. I would have loved to have a C11.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, in my skies, Saturn is about like, it's very low on the horizon. So yeah, what do I want to say? Actually?
What
When I'm
latitude are
zooming
you?
into Saturn, and I have a lot of like turbulence in the air. I'm shooting through a lot of air. I don't know if I can get a good high resolution shot of a planet, even using a big telescope when my planets are very low on the horizon. That's
And
what
you said you were at 42, right? Latitude?
52.
Oh, 52.
52.
52.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah, I
difference.
think that's
I'm at
Vancouver.
I'm
or
at
something.
42 myself.
Yeah.
So 50 is a big
So
difference.
Jupiter is great, Mars is great for me, but if Saturn is really like 20, 25 degrees up in the sky. And yeah, I never got a super high resolution picture with the Edge HD, but I think it's more because of the sky conditions than that it has to do with the optics.
All right. Well, we got another question for you. This is from Beatrice. Which astrophoto of yours are you most proud of, and why, and where can we view it?
Oh,
that's three questions.
Yeah.
I don't want to brag. I'm not the best astrophotographer. I will never say that. But I did have one, and I think it's the only one astronomical picture of the day. So that has to be my favorite picture because and actually I cheated. Or you can call it a science experiment.
Okay.
I can show it to you if you want.
Yeah, show it.
Yeah, for sure.
But can I do like a PowerPoint share or how?
It's on the bottom. I think it's a red computer. It says toggle screen sharing.
Okay. Toggle screen sharing. I'm very good at it. I'm 47 years old. I should be able to do this.
Oh, you're still young. Don't worry. You're fine.
I don't see the window, entire screen. No, I don't see it. You can look it up. Sorry about that.
Tell me where it is, and I can bring it up if you want.
So yeah, it was I think an A-pod in 2021, November 2021. Wido Oerlemans.
November.
It was the Pac-Man Nebula also. So if you Google it, maybe I can also Google it. Yeah.
Pac-Man.
But anyway, the reason why I'm proud of that is that I did like a narrowband image of the Pac-Man Nebula with my Edge HD telescope. So that's about 9 hours of data. Not super special, but I got a nice Hubble palette picture of that nebula. And then I read up a little bit on what's going on inside that nebula. And there are a lot of newborn stars that are not visible in the visible light spectrum. So I was searching a little bit on the internet, and then I saw you have the Chandra X-ray Observatory, like a professional space-based telescope that images the night sky or images the universe in X-ray. And they had like these newborn stars, they imaged them in the Pac-Man Nebula. And you had Spitzer, another space-based telescope that images in the infrared. We can also see, infrared.
Wow.
Here we are.
Wow.
This is the picture. It's not perfect. But what you see here is like I produced the Edge HD produced the narrowband pictures. I took away the stars using StarNet plus at the time. I think we now have StarNet 2. And then I integrated pictures of the Chandra space-based telescope and the infrared from the Spitzer Space Telescope. And then you can see like this broad spectrum kind of view of the Pac-Man Nebula beyond what we can see with our telescopes.
That's actually pretty
that
cool.
really
That's really cool.
So anyway, I should stop talking now.
No, that's a very nice, very great rendition of it. I love the starless and the stars in the middle. It looks great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and especially if you look at. Sorry.
That's fantastic. I totally agree. This is a fantastic shot.
Yeah, it's not only my shot, so that's why I said it's a little bit
That's
like
okay.
50%
But it's
my
okay,
own
though.
and 50% thank you space-based telescopes. But what I find fascinating, for instance, that if we take the picture, you can see like a dark cloud, that would be the mouth of the Pac-Man Nebula, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So if we would look at that would be just dark. And I always assumed that's just like that where the nebula ends. and like there's just a lot of space behind that nebula. But if you look at the Spitzer data, you see that entire mouth is covered up. So actually, there's a lot more ionized hydrogen gas inside that nebula than that we can see.
Nice.
It really opened up like, oh wow, we are only seeing this very small part of the universe with our telescopes. So
Exactly.
yeah, I was fascinated with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Really cool.
Nice. That is really, really cool. So
Yeah, everyone's saying, "Whoa, how awesome!" There you go. Some nice, clean shots.
Oh, cool.
Very, very worthy of the APOD.
So we talked a little bit about light
you-
pollution here, Wido.
Yeah.
What is your Bortle or SQM level?
Yeah,
there in
if
the
yeah. So where I'm from, I'm really imaging from a city. So I'm in I'm Bortle 7, Bortle 8, depending on the app you check. But that's a red to white zone, I think. So, and in the Netherlands, the light pollution is actually pretty heavy. So I think you cannot go below Bortle class 4 in the Netherlands. So
Okay.
if you want to visit some dark skies, then yeah, you have some in France, and in Spain there are still some really dark skies available. But so yeah, it's terrible. It's I don't know what to. Yeah, I really am grateful that there are some like tricks to still do astrophotography in this light polluted sky.
Yeah.
And I think on the one hand, that narrowband imaging, I think a lot of people who are in light polluted skies do narrowband imaging. So that's great to have this high contrast view of the nebulae. And I also think the software is getting better. So
Yeah.
I never dared to do like broadband under city light polluted skies, but during the last year I did some. And I think like this, you have dynamic background extraction and Grexpert and all these kind of things. These tools in PixInsight, they just keep on getting better and better.
I know.
So
we were talking about that.
Actually,
Sorry, we were talking about that behind the scenes, and the guys that watch the show know about my telephone wires and issues and stuff like that. So I don't have to go about that again. But I mean, to your point on the software, with just even the updates with WBPP, forget about Russ Croman's AI stuff and all the, all that kind of stuff that's coming out and Grexpert and all that. I mean, just WBPP from PixInsight is now starting to realize what's part of a star and what's not, and was able to now reject those lovely diffraction spikes that I've been getting only on the bright stars because of the telephone lines. So I mean,
your Saturn rings.
Yeah, everything, every bright star looked like Saturn. It was crazy.
It's the same thing with because Dan, majority of us, we use PixInsight. I personally use AstroPixel processor majority. I do a big mix, and the same thing when you're the new software that's coming out, it is getting so much better and more helpful just with that dynamic background extraction, be it within PixInsight, and now APP is getting more improved. And we're not, of course, there's Grexpert and Blur Exterminator, but things now are getting better because so many of these programmers and designers, they start understanding more and more people are doing this, especially since the pandemic. More and more people were purchasing telescopes during the pandemic and getting more into it and not just doing visual, but then hopping over into photography and astrophotography. So now you have many more people getting involved. So these developers are now saying, we need to make our software better, and you just have constant innovation. And it's so cool to see these improvements, especially for areas like yours, Dan, even mine. I'm in a Bortle 5, where you can
cry me a river, Eric. Cry me a river.
I know. Why is me?
Terrible Bortle 5.
Yeah,
oh my God.
yeah. Just wham. But it's just gotten so. But the software, no matter which one you use, PixInsight or AstroPixel processor, or Cyril, for example. Cyril's another one. It's just gotten so much better, and that's been a benefit for us all,
I was thinking about. I absolutely agree with that, and I was thinking about it myself also. Like I started in 2016, and I just used like Deep Sky Stacker for stacking. I think that's more of the more like easy to use stacking software tools when you just start out.
And it's free.
I did my post process, like the stack picture. I just imported it in Photoshop, and there were a lot of tricks. People would also. I really love YouTube, by the way. There are all kinds of like modules or new stuff that comes out. It will be on YouTube, and as somebody will be talking about it. So, so I just learned the process in Photoshop.
Just spazzed out for a second.
Buffering.
He's coming back, I think.
Yeah, but the University of YouTube is so right. We'll wait for Wido to get back, because I know I for sure have learned so much more out of YouTube. Yeah, here he's back. Yeah, than I have with anything else.
Okay.
No problem.
Sometimes when we're dealing with long distances, this does happen sometimes, especially when you're on a live show. So
I think this is the distance from my wireless internet connection at the attic to my server.
There you go.
we have another question here from Larry, Wido, for you. And I actually have this question as well. You've been doing a lot of videos lately regarding smart telescopes. I see you have two of them back there behind you right now. Do you have a favorite, and do you see them replacing, any of your personal gear? Do you see them as a replacement for anything you're currently using more actively?
Good questions. And I think smart telescopes, they cater to a very specific crowd of people. And for me, I was really into it. I got some emails from ZWO and also Vaonis like, hey, we have these new things, and would you like to try them out? So that's the honest thing to say. And but I was also fascinated by them because I'm not getting the same quality pictures as compared to my astrophotography rig with like a computerized equatorial mount, a refractor, apochromatic telescope, or an Edge HD. But at the same time, it's so easy. They are wireless, they are lightweight. You don't need to have a lot of knowledge of astrophotography. So if you're just starting out and you don't want to put like the kind of time and effort in we all do to like get really like into it, and it becomes a passion or even an obsession, depending on the person you ask, I think. So I think a lot of people, they can just, if you do some naked eye stargazing, you come home and you think, I want to see a little bit more of the night sky. Instead of buying a good set of binoculars or instead of buying a visual telescope, you can also get one of these guys, like Vaonis Vespera or a C-Star S50 or a Dwarf 2. And I say the favorite, and I'm all over the place with my thoughts on this, but actually what I do, I use them to survive the winter. So from November till the end of February in the Netherlands, at least, we have like almost always clouds with 1 or 2 hour breaks in between. And then I don't want to carry out my EQ6R Pro and Edge HD. And by the time I get that all running, I don't have an observatory. So by the time I get that running, the clouds will have rolled it back in again. So, and with that being said, I would say the cheapest smart telescope is, of course, the C-Star S50 and the Dwarf 2. And if you're into if you want decent quality pictures, I would pick the C-Star, because it has the apochromatic triplet refractor telescope with the 50 millimeter aperture, 250 millimeter focal length, and gives a little bit of a better resolution picture as compared to Dwarf. You don't agree?
No, I'm just, I haven't had as much experience with the I haven't even touched the dwarf yet, to be honest with you. So I thought you were gonna say the Vesper or the Stellina, but so
Maybe I should tell you. Yeah, so my thing. So you have the price range $500 more or less.
yeah, compared to
Then I would pick the
$1,500,
C-Star at 50.
Yeah.
And then because I think also what CWO does really well, and there's also a lot of debate about this, of course, but they imported a lot of the things they developed in the ASI Air. They put that also into their C-Star app.
Yep.
So if you know nothing about astrophotography or planetary or lunar imaging, they have this lunar mode, or they have this solar imaging mode. You can just enter it, the telescope. It's an LTS mount, of course, so you can just put it down. You don't need to polar align it. You just click on, hey, I want to do some moon gazing, and that thing will find the moon within a minute or two.
Yeah.
And so that's great. And when you want to look at some deep sky objects, you have a stellarium-like virtual sky atlas. You can just click on an object and it will just point and shoot.
Yeah.
So that's what's really awesome about the C-Star, and the Dwarf 2 is more of a generalized.
Yeah.
It's not a telescope.
No, it's a little camera.
Big revelation. The Dwarf 2 is
not a telescope.
Do you know what sensor that the C-Star uses?
Sorry?
Do you know what sensor the C-Star uses?
Yeah, I have to look it up, but this is like a small planetary Sony IMX Starvis sensor.
Okay.
Yes, Starvis, but I'm not 100% sure which one. We'd have to look that up.
Yeah, you can check that.
But yeah, I mean, you're totally right. You mentioned, being in astrophotography, it being an obsession or, an addiction or what have you. I consider, me personally, I call this a lifestyle because it's a total lifestyle change.
Yeah.
It is a total lifestyle change. And it's one for me, even, maybe my bank account may not agree with it, but, it's been a lifestyle change for the better.
It's the 462. So in case anyone's wondering, it's 462.
Okay. And we got Wido. He buffering again.
Yeah, no, he's
there
back.
He is. No, he's coming back and forth.
That's okay. Yeah, it's a 460. Yeah, it's the IMX 462 in the. There we go.
You're back.
So and the Stellina is a bigger aperture too. I did it like 80 millimeter in the Stellina.
Yeah. So, but the price also goes up. So you have $4,000 at your disposal. You can get. But the Stellina is actually. I would actually. You have the Vaunus Vespera. If you're looking at like a nice in-between kind of telescope. That telescope is about $1,500.
Yeah.
And it does have like also 50 millimeter aperture and 250 millimeter focal length. But it also has this 585 MC sensor, so it has a little bit of a bigger field of view.
Wide field.
Sensor size, I have to say. So you get a bigger field of view as compared to the C-Star. So it will easily fit Orion Nebula. And what the Vaunus also has, where a lot of people are waiting for mosaic mode in the C-Star S50. It's not available yet. And the people know that it is already available in the ASI Air, for instance. So they are expecting it to be implemented. But so far, Vaunus has been the only company that has actually implemented mosaic and panorama mode. So what you can do is just, I think, image up to 3 times or 4 times, I think 3 times the sensor size. So you can actually get these like 3-4 degree field of view images of the night sky. So that's super cool. Yeah, I don't know how they did that.
Yeah,
but at the same time, you're limited. You're taking 10-second exposures. Yeah. You're doing lucky imaging. So you can't reproduce what you can produce with a long exposure picture and a computerized equatorial mount.
Well, I'm curious
you have some field rotation and everything, that kind of stuff. So
yeah. I'm curious to see, and I've yet to see any pictures. So if any have come out, you're gonna have to excuse me. I've been working my butt off here, but I apologize. But I'm curious to see the first images out of that the Celestron Origin the Rasa Smart Telescope, the 6-inch Rasa.
Right.
Oh yeah, the 6-inch Rasa.
I don't know
Yeah.
anyone that's bought one, purchased one, asked about them, whatever, because I mean, at what
I
point
know-
do
I-
these
I-
smart telescopes get too large to be a portable kind of thing? You know what I mean? What point did it get to be too big?
Yeah, they call it a home observatory for
Yeah.
a reason, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now we've
So the
talked,
rest
we
of-
talked a little bit. We talked a little bit about budget, Wido, and trying to be
Yeah.
more budget conscious, because I'm going to throw a scenario at you
Oh no.
since we've been talking
Okay.
about budget. If you and I had this
gotcha.
written down, if you have a budget of say $15,000 US, or say 14,000 euros, 15,000
Yeah.
to get your dream rig, what would that be?
More
had-
money.
Ooh.
No.
Dream rig
Like
is
money,
more
your-
money.
Your wife, like say with me, like with my wife, she'll like, this is your budget. You're not going a penny over it. This is it. So say
Oh.
15,000 or 14,000 euros, because that's kind of about the same, maybe a
Okay.
little bit more.
Very
Where would
difficult.
you be?
One
It's a
rig?
difficult- yeah, one rig, only one.
I think I would first spend it on a very good computerized equatorial mount.
Yep.
I think
Okay.
I have been saying this from the beginning, like you have to put your money where your mount is, something like that.
Yep,
So I really
exactly.
believe that. So you want
Is there a
your
particular-
only
is there a
competitor
particular type of
to
mount?
be your star. Sorry?
Yeah, was there a particular amount that you would that you would say you would love to have, or it would be
I
you
don't
wanted
know. I
to
never
be?
looked at that kind of budget. But
Okay.
I guess
It's
EQ8, something like that, on
Okay,
a nice.
okay.
But how much is that?
It's about
EQ8 is
5,400 US, so
Oh,
maybe about
5,400. Then I
4,500.
still have 10. I still have 10,000.
Yeah, you still have 10,000. So
Okay, then we need what is the biggest camera sensor, CMOS sensor available? 6200, I think, something like that.
Yeah, full frame,
The
6,200.
yeah,
Yeah.
full frame.
You go Moravian with the medium format if you want. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay,
I
well,
would get
we'll
like
stick
a
with
super big
the
field of view.
6200.
Yeah, and then for a telescope, it's really tricky. It depends a little bit on what you're aiming to shoot, I think, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
So,
what would you prefer more to do? Is it more wide, or is it more long focal length, or is it somewhere in the middle?
yeah, I've been all over the place. I do like it when you have I do like a long focal length picture of the night sky. They just. But I think that is because I have owned a refractor already. So if you have like a 500 or 600 millimeter refractor, you are first amazed by like the total object of the Rosette Nebula or the Orion Nebula, or you can take it all into one picture, and then at one point you'll gravitate more towards tinier objects, I think, and you want to get some more detail. For instance, if you're imaging the Heart Nebula, that's great, but you want Merlot. What is it? I don't know the number
15.
exactly. But
15.
the heart of the Heart Nebula. Yeah. So it really, I would have a very difficult choice buying just one telescope. I would just buy a very expensive mount that can track within 0.1, 0.2 accuracy,
There
and
you
then
go.
switch telescopes.
Yeah,
Done.
there you go. So that may end up being, you get the great mount, but you get maybe you keep your Edge 8, perhaps, or you go to a 9 1/4, and then you get a nice refractor, and then you pair maybe that 6200 and maybe a 2600.
Yeah.
You have 15. You have like that $15,000 budget. Yeah. So that basically, so what that gets at is that my point that I'm trying to make is that there's no silver bullet, right? There's really no silver bullet when it comes to this hobby in actual photography. But if you do have a budget, you can build maybe not just one, but maybe two nice setups for yourself, and then be totally cool with it, because now you have
That's
you can
actually
think
what
that now
Eric,
I have the best of both worlds.
super good point you make, because I was thinking, when you said that, I was thinking about the different seasons we have. So for instance, we are now entering spring, and now I'm really eager to get my Edge HD with the 0.7 reducer up and running, because I want to capture those tiny galaxies.
Yep.
And then they are 20 million light years away. But when you come to June, July, way in the south, in the northern hemisphere at least, and we have these big nebulae, and it's super nice to have this wide field refractor, apochromatic refractor, to get like a big part of the night sky that is really like the Elephant Trunk Nebula, or you want the Cygnus Loop, that kind of stuff, in one picture. And oh shit,
No, you're good.
am I still?
Okay.
You're good.
You're good.
I see myself, my mouth moving, and
No, you're good. It just
anyway,
stuttered out for a
depends also-
second. You're
depends
fine.
a lot on the season.
Now, one thing that even Chan just mentioned, and you can even do this with your Edge, with the Edge 8, and was one reason why I really like the Schmitz so much, is that they're so versatile, because you could get a Hyperstar, and you do have the reducer, and you can go F10 and go fully native, and also get a Barlow and go F20 or F30 for planetary, which is really, really cool. So one thing, and if you don't mind, I will share and show, because like I said, I also have the same setup as you have. What camera do you use? Do you pair with your Edge 8?
I did use the ASI 1600 for a couple of years, but I think it's now out of commission, right?
More or less.
I would say like the ASI 2600, something like that kind of sensor, to get like APS-C. It depends also again on the budget you have. But,
but what are you currently using? What I was curious is, what are you currently using now with your Edge?
I'm using what exactly like you said. Like if I want to do some deep sky astrophotography, I would go with my ASI 2600 Mono Pro, or a similar SEM sensor from another brand. That would be fine too, I think. But you can also do some planetary, like you said. So then maybe I would use like a small like 6-7-8 planetary camera, or 5-8-5. To capture Jupiter, to capture Mars. So I would switch cameras depending on the object you want to capture. And I never used the Hyperstar. I still, when I switched to a wide field astrophotography, I just take my refractor, my 500 millimeter refractor out of the closet, and I use that. I know it's a longer. It's F6. I'm at the F6 there instead of, what is the Hyperstar? It will get you to F2, I think.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. Sure.
But then your camera will be in front of your telescope.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that may be a bit tricky to get all of that working. It can be done, of course, but yeah.
Of course. Yep. Because here, I'll share with you my screen here, because I have the same setup. Cool. I have something similar. So this is just a raw of the Medusa Nebula. It's a planetary. And so this is great. And this is with a 533 sensor. So you have that much smaller chip, but it seems, but it gives you that more narrow field, so you can really almost get even a bit more reach, right? Then because one thing that I noticed with the 2600, because I have that as well, is that with using the reducer, it cuts your image circle down so much. Right. So it's like you're going down to like a 24 millimeter or something like that. So it's not quite. So you start getting some cuts and stuff like that. But I wanted to just share this because I, like you, have a very similar setup. And I think, it's a great pairing. And when you go something like this guy, if I get the luminance here. Yep, here we are. Like you get the Croc's eye. I love the reach of Schmidt Cassegrains. They're so cool. They're so versatile, and you can get. Let me see if I zoom it in a little more, so you can see so much more of this stuff. And so yeah, I was just kind of curious because you have a. I was just curious on your take on your your setup, because we have very similar. Because I watch your videos, and we have very similar
Yeah.
stuff as I do. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll go ahead.
I agree with you, Eric. So I really like the focal length reach of the like the 1500 millimeter focal length, or I think even beyond that when you have a 9 1/4, it adds that little bit extra. Sometimes you get a little
Yeah,
bit of that higher resolution image as compared to buying maybe what is it, like I think like 100. Yeah, I'm always thinking in millimeters, but like a 6-inch or 7-inch apochromatic refractor telescope. I think they are about 750, 800 millimeters, something like that.
Depends on what you
Depends
get.
a little bit, right?
Depends
There is
on
a
which one you get.
final, like, I think, Dan, you mentioned that also. There's a final, like, focal length at which point these refractors are just getting so very heavy and also very expensive because of the glass hue that needs to be produced. And then this, I think it is like very, very common that to then just switch to a more economical modified Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope like the Edge HD.
Yep.
You'll get that extra focal length, and you will, of course, you will be imaging at f7 or something like that. But if you have that good computerized equatorial mount that can track accurately, then that's not necessarily an issue.
Yeah.
And also you because I don't know what kind of skies you have there, but if I look at the Netherlands, no, I don't mean in terms of light pollution. I mean in terms of turbulence and everything. So when I look at, for instance, Meteo Blue, if I look at the arc seconds number in the Netherlands, it's almost always above 1. So 1.2, 1.3,
I
1.5.
wish I was 1.
Sorry?
I wish I was at 1. I'm like 2.5, 3 at best. You know, so
I'm questioning a lot of the times when I'm imaging, because I have then that setup it brings me to 0.5 or 0.6 the imaging scale with the Edge HD and the 0.7 reducer. But then at the same time, I have an arc second sky of 1 or 1.4, 1.5.
Right.
Then I'm thinking about binning.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, maybe I need to create a super pixel because I will not see more resolution. I'm just fighting the sky then.
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
Yeah. So I know.
Mr. B said Hyperstar 8 is $1,000 getting into range of some very good refractors.
Yeah, it is.
And it's true. I mean, and that's one of my arguments about, all these, dropping the focal length for sensitivity kind of thing, with these hyperstars and reducers and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, that's why but number one, I'm just too darn lazy to change these things. I can't, I would rather spend the extra money. That's why I have a Red Cat. That's why I have a 400 FRI 400. That's why I have a 5-inch astrophysics. And also, if I want to go kind of crazy, we were talking about aperture fever before, right? I got my 18-inch obsession that I could drag out if I want to do visual. I did some planetary imaging through that 18-inch obsession, which I just did it to see if I could do it. And for me, for one time with my niece, who was 5 at the time, she wanted to see Saturn. So I said, let's see what happens if I put the camera in. And it turned out to be an okay picture. It's nothing great, but I mean, you could definitely see the 2 rings, and it was only about I don't know 500 frames. It was a real quick 1-minute shot, and but I mean, it turns out
planetary,
when you turn the servo-cat on or whatever you're tracking, it doesn't matter if you're alt-az or not, if you're alt-az or equatorial, because all you're doing is taking a little part of that chip when you're dealing with planetary, right?
And also again the planetary the astronomical seeing conditions, they are varying a lot,
Oh yeah.
So I have been trying to image Jupiter and Mars with the Edge HD, so not quite the resolution you have used then.
No.
But I already saw that, when the skies are clear and these planets are exactly at opposition, so closest to Earth, you can end up with some decent like some decent resolution pictures, even with an 8-inch telescope. And on other nights when the seeing is mediocre or even bad, then it doesn't matter how much your focal length is. You're just going to, I think it's called empty magnification, right?
Mhm.
So you will have like the focal length and the resolution of your astro rig.
Yep.
But yeah, you will just see a blurry image of the planet because of just the bad sky conditions.
Oh yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah,
literally, even when Jupiter is in New York at, at its highest, right? Um, on some nights, you could actually see the waves of the heat of the atmosphere just making it just like wobble all over the place. And that's why it's super important. If you have really bad seeing conditions and you're trying to do planetary, you want to get the camera with the highest frame rates you can possibly get, because there is so little of a chance of you may throw an auto stacker. And for those of you that
Yeah.
know auto stacker, there's this nice little graph, right? You may just go down to the bottom and you're only good with like 20% of like, a 1 hour video, right? So that's really lucky. So especially if you're having really bad seeing conditions.
yeah.
Why did
And
my lights just go
Auto
out?
Stacker 4 is out.
What's that?
So there's a new Auto Stacker version out.
Oh,
So we used to work with Auto Stacker 3,
yeah, there's 4 now.
but it's now 4. So for people who like planetary imaging, I think it got an upgrade like 2 months ago, something like that.
Oh man, okay, gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a Dutch developer, so I like to
There you go.
to promote him.
Hey, even in the U.S., AutoStacker is the program that I turn people on to when they're doing planetary, because there is a lot of, like you were saying before, there's a lot of YouTube demonstrations, at least on 3 and even 2, you can find them out there. Lot of support for AutoStacker out there on the University of YouTube.
Yeah, I think if you look at planetary capturing and processing in general, there's a lot of free software available.
Yeah,
So
you
you have AutoStacker and Registack 6 and
Yep.
the
Fire
guys from
cap-
Registack 6
Fire
they are working
capture,
on
yeah.
Fire
yeah,
capture.
fire
capture,
capture, wave
windshield
sharp,
mode.
and they're all free.
Yeah.
So a lot of kudos to the people who have been putting their how do you say that, all their time, blood, sweat, and tears into developing that stuff.
Absolutely.
I often see, and I did it myself. You post a video and you say, "Hey, I captured this or I captured that." But actually, we captured it because we are standing on the shoulders of incredible technological innovations and software developers that took the time to
for sure.
do all
Absolutely.
that.
Now, I'm trying to see if there was any questions, but if not, I'll go to one of mine. What has been your most challenging target, image to image, so far?
Ooh. The challenging target to get it right. So my most challenging target to get it right is maybe a bit strange, but for me it was the Eagle Nebula.
Okay.
So at 52 degrees latitude, we have the Eagle Nebula pretty low on the horizon. And I remember, because one of my first associations as a kid with astrophotography was when I saw the Hubble Space Telescope missions.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. We had the space shuttle, and at first the Hubble Space Telescope was out of collimation, and they needed to
I
do
remember.
these repair missions. And then finally we got these sharp images. And one of them, of course, it's the most famous image, the Pillars of Creation. And I remember downloading that when I was in my 20s on my computer. And it actually took I had a 64 kilobyte per second modem. So I needed to download that for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I use it as a screensaver. Now, okay, this
Yeah.
really tells how old I am, I think.
Yeah. Oh, well, listen. I think you know what? Not for nothing. I think you're the youngest person on the show right now. So just so you know that. So at 47, I think we all got you beat. But you know, I remember those modems, man. My first
Yeah.
modem was an Atari. What was it? The 2030. What the big block modem? The 9600
Yeah.
baud modem.
Yeah,
That, you know,
yeah,
Oh my
96
goodness.
One
wow,
you use,
yeah,
the one you use with your phone, and you drop your phone.
drop
and
your
you know,
phone
you
on
go
it. Yeah, you pick it up, you hear a fax
Yeah,
machine,
yeah,
and you
exactly.
put it down
You
into the
needed to
thing.
phone in, right? You needed to literally phone in, and you got this noise, like yoing, yoing,
Yeah,
yoing, and then
and you would sit there. And, I gotta log on to AOL 3.0. I gotta do it, and I gotta.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna go dial. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna get a drink. I'm gonna come back, and I'll have the home screen up. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So we saw. Okay, so that was
for me,
that. So you're
yeah,
saying
it's
that
maybe
you
not
would
the most
have
difficult, but emotionally, for me, it was an emotional thing to see, like, you can capture it from your backyard, and the pillars of creation are tricky. So the Eagle Nebula is a pretty bright nebula. You can capture it already with your apochromatic telescope, but to get a decent resolution picture of the pillars of creation, that takes like maybe 12 or 15 hours of narrowband imaging if you want to do it really good. So that was kind of tricky with me because I had short nights in the summer. So I needed to do this across multiple nights, and I got a picture, and I'm really happy with it.
yeah.
Good.
So yeah.
Oh, we have another question here from English Fires. How do you keep motivated with all the? How did you keep motivated with all the clouds last year?
True. I didn't. I sometimes pulled my hair out. What? Because when you're into the hobby for 5, 6, 7, or 8 years, like I think I've been doing it since 2016, and then at one point, of course, you have collected enough data to go back to reprocessing your images. So that's something that I think every astrophotographer does, and also I do that. And that's actually pretty interesting because you can see how much progress you've made every year. So, and also the software is getting more. We already talked about that, but if I look at my pictures I took in 2017 of the Horsehead and the Flame Nebula and some Rosette pictures, I reprocessed some of those in 2022 when we had really bad patch of like months of clouds. And then you're just amazed, like, oh, how much more detail can I pull out of the same data 2 or 3 years apart? And something I was completely happy with 2 or 3 years ago, I can do a much better job now. So that keeps me motivated. Yeah.
I remember that was a big thing when Blur Exterminator came out. Everybody's going back to find old data and use Blur Exterminator.
Yeah.
See how much better it
looks. It scares me a bit. It does scare me a
bit. You know, you're not the only one, Wido. It does. You know, a lot of people that come on the show, even though they say that's part of the evolution of the of the software, right? Because that's what it is. So we go back to the day, and then I'm probably not outdating you by a lot, but I remember when I was actually. When did you start doing imaging, Wido?
I think exactly at the right time, like 2016.
Okay, so you got to it.
I mean,
you got to it very, within the last 8 years, 10 years. I was self-guiding on stars, moving telescopes, kind of on film, and I remember I bring this up every once in a while because sometimes people get a little kick out of it. There was the first guiding program that came out. It was called Guide Dog. Right? It was called Guide Dog.
There was something predating PhD2.
Oh boy, this is 10 years or 5 years before PhD2 came out, and it's called Guide Dog. And it was the most annoying piece of garbage because every time it lost a guide star, instead of getting a nice little bing, 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 you get woof, 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 and you couldn't turn it off. You couldn't turn it off. There was no way to turn it off. So every time you were out, Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. And it never worked. It never worked. I mean, look at the pixels on these. The chip was like the size of like this little pen point right here. That's how big the chip was. And you know what? You were losing the guard star literally like every minute. I mean, it was just like gone, and it was bad. And it was now that you got PhD2, you got multiple star guiding, you got all these lovely things out that kind of help you. And in all fairness, I mean, take a look at the addition of harmonic mounts, right? Well, they're very, very torque driven, and they're pretty precise. Even when people like to talk about periodic error and stuff, but yeah, you can guide that stuff out, right? So I mean,
yeah. And I was also thinking like, first of all, then you are a hero, of course. When I was also thinking about. I said like I've entered it at the correct time, because when I think about my 1980s as a child, we had a Commodore 64 or something like that. I mean, we were playing with a computer that had 64 kilobits of internal memory, something like that, with a data recorder and cassettes, and a 16-color screen. And analog camera. So okay, now we are getting back.
Oh, he's breaking out. He's going into this part of death or something.
So
he's breaking stuff out.
So this is, I gotta say thank you to Jason Pellegrini, because we were talking about this on the show, and I was going back to the 70s and 80s, and we were thinking about, oh God, I remember playing on this thing, and it was pretty bad, but I was said, but here you go. So this is the Timex Sinclair 1000, and this has the additional RAM module of a whopping 16 kilobytes of RAM in here, and it just slides right onto the back right there. And he updated it with an RCA out for video, a headphone jack for your ear, and he kind of made a little power supply out of it, so I could plug it in anywhere. So I said, oh man, he's like, I got one. And it goes back to the day. This is how old this thing is. This goes back to the day. So if you remember those TVs that you had, right? You had like I don't know if you remember this, a box in the back of your TV that you slipped up and down for TV or video. And some of them you could change to channel 2 or 3, wherever you are. And this has the little switch here that tells you channel 2 or channel 3, which one are you going to be on? and most of us in the US use channel 3 because 2 was what, ABC or whatever at the time. But thank you to Jason Pellegrini to updating this. I still have yet to plug it in, but it's a really cool thing to have.
Oh man,
there you go. Old computers. There you go.
There it is. So another a follow-up on that question that we were just having, as far as your most challenging being, you're at that 52-degree latitude. Where ideally, where would be your ideal, like say, dark sky location? If you can go somewhere, dark sky, either anywhere in the world, where would it be to go after, that ideal target that you really, really want to go after?
Okay. Yeah, I would, every kind of broadband target. I mean, if you have dark skies, that helps so much.
Anywhere where I can do broadband.
Broadband. I want to do broadband. And I'm not talking about a modem, by the way.
Exactly. Anywhere where I can do LRGB. I just want to get out of the light pollution.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and I have been building like a wireless rig. Dan was talking about a little bit, because like after getting an Edge HD and the EQ6R Pro, I was thinking like, hey, should I build an observatory in my backyard? Because that is probably the next step for a lot of folks who think about, hey, I don't want to spend that half hour building my rig. I didn't go through with it, because in the Netherlands we have these like light polluted, cloudy skies often, and I have actually been building this wireless rig to get out, to get to dark, and I think for me it would be like, in the middle of France, they have some Bortle class 1, 2 skies. Also in Spain, they have some very nice observatories in the south of Spain. They are 2 kilometers high, so that's about, what's it, 1.5 mile, 1,500 miles, something like that. No, okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
just
yeah,
up less atmosphere
Yep.
to shoot from, and they have like Bortle 1, Bortle 2 skies without any cities or villages in like a 50 kilometer radius. I would really love to travel there this summer. And I once went to Greece, and I experienced like Bortle 1 sky there. It was just close to the beach, and you could see the Milky Way rising in the south in the summertime. And I could actually visually see everything and the thousands of stars that are visible.
Yeah.
I would love to go to places like that. I mean, yeah. And where exactly on Earth? I mean, I don't necessarily would be in Chile. I think it would be like too hard in like, you want to go as high as possible, right? But at one point it gets really cold and chilly.
Yeah. Cold, chilly,
So I'd say
can't
maybe
breathe.
2
You know,
kilometers.
Yeah, not much oxygen.
not much oxygen there. You
Not
know,
much oxygen. Yeah.
Speaking
at
of
one
Chile
point-
and Spain, have you ever tried any of the remote telescope services, like say, or are you
Telescope
interested in
Live.
trying those out, like a telescope live or anything
I
like
would,
that?
yeah. I never tried. Did you actually? I didn't try it out myself because I really like the experience of. I always say this to myself, but in the back of my mind, I always have this idea of I have to try it out sometime, especially during winter. It's really hard when you have like
Mhm.
3 or 4 months of clear sky of cloudy skies. I often think, hey, I should really get some time on these remote observatories, and but it's part of the experience you will miss, of course. It's like, for me, it's also a little bit of a personal thing. Like you build up your telescope
I agree.
rig,
I
you
agree.
wait until it gets dark, and you want to go imaging, but it's still twilight.
Yep.
And then finally,
Yeah.
you have that clear dark sky or light blue sky in my situation. And then the first picture rolls in, and you can aim your telescope everywhere you like. I really like that personal, like backyard astrophotography experience.
Yep.
And you
Yeah,
would
yeah, the
miss that
freedom to
all
do
that.
that.
You would, yeah. I like to physically go out and do that, and also experience all the ups and downs that come with it, by like broken USB cables and
Things just
PC not
stopping to
running.
work for no reason, and I worked like the day
Exactly.
before. You know, So
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
your
it feels
point,
like,
go ahead.
yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. You have sometimes you have these hard fault pictures, I think you call it, right?
Yep.
Like you had a lot of you had to battle against the skies, and your rig wasn't doing well in it, and finally you got everything solved, and you ended up with that picture you wanted. That gives me so much more like emotion, I think, as compared to
It does. It does, because you know what, you sit
downloading
there,
from
you sit
another
there and you
equipment.
say, you know what, I put the time and effort into this shot, and I made this the way I want it, and it's mine. It's mine. I didn't, and to your point, I joined Telescope Live. We did a Southern Sky Challenge because a lot of the times, people from our latitude, we don't get a chance to go to Chile or go to get the tarantula or the dragons of Arrow or Centaurus A and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of want to get these kind of things. So I joined Telescope Live back when we did that, and to your point, I haven't used it since then, and somehow I've literally racked up. You can't see it. Hold on a second. We've racked up. Hold on a second. I'll just do this real quick. There we go. Oh, 609 credits over the past 4 years. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'm probably going to do it as a giveaway, but I mean, it's like,
Holy cow, man.
I mean, it's out of control. So, and actually the plan has gone up twice in price since I joined it. It used to be $17 a month. Now it's up to $24 a month. But I just saw that now, so I'm like, but it's I mean, for 609 credits, you could get a lot of data.
A lot of data.
You get a lot of data. Now, is
You
it,
know, there are some stuff you can do with it then. Like sometimes you have a comet and then it's just passing in front of a famous galaxy
Yeah.
or a kind of a region that's really interesting to observe. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe that's an idea.
yeah, I mean, and we did it with the Tarantula Nebula last year. I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know if he's in the chat, but Sean Nielsen entered it for the processing data from Visible Dark, and I think he got second place. so
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of throw that at him every now and then. Somebody else beat him. I forget who beat him, but I think it was Mark Ellis. I think it was Mark Ellis that beat him. I think, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It was about 4 years ago.
You may be right. I think you
Right.
may be
Yeah,
right.
you will end up with incredible data probably when you
And you
use
don't
these
need a
remote-
lot either. All you need is like,
Yeah.
2 hours per filter because they're in such pristine skies. It's like,
Yeah.
and the best
Exactly.
equipment, and the best cameras, and the best everything.
the plane waves and yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, not for nothing. Even a TOC 106 with an FLI camera. I mean, that's
But then at one
That's
point
it.
you just say like I have some family and friends and some people really are interested in astrophotography, but a lot of others aren't. And then they always say, why don't you just download the James Webb Hubble Space Telescope pictures? Or why don't you just, I mean, space-based telescope, in the end, they will produce the highest quality data for you.
Yeah,
And,
you know what?
But you
I just tell them. I literally tell
challenge.
them. I literally tell them.
Exactly.
I say, hey, you know what? Have you seen the James Webb pictures? Have you seen those spikes? Have you seen the warping? I mean, they can't even take a picture in focus. So
I hate
so,
the reflection spike.
so they won't know the difference. It's okay.
I pointed out that the diffraction stars or the diffraction spikes on the James Webb Space Telescope, some people love them, but I don't. So I pointed that out, but it costed me only subscribers when I did. So
Because Beatrice is even asking Wido, he's like, do you like Newtonians?
No.
Yeah,
don't worry. If anyone's going to lose subscribers, it's going to be this channel. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
There go another 50. But yeah, I mean, Newton. They are. Everybody, if you're talking about refractors, there's always that 2-3 persons that say, okay, you need to buy a Newtonian because you get a bigger aperture, good focal length, an f5 ratio telescope or f4, and it's cheaper. So what are you even doing with these apochromatic refractor telescopes? And I understand what they are saying, and at the same time, I you have the collimation. The spider vein in front of the Newtonian that gets you the diffraction spikes.
I agree.
The weight, also more weight. You need to store it somewhere inside your house. Yeah, some people have the room, others don't. I think it's a personal
It is
a personal decision you need to take, and if you're having fun, then it's great,
Yeah,
But
and
I personally like lightweight, small apochromatic refractors. I like them a little bit better than the Newtonians. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely I'm with you there. I'm definitely a refractor guy. And that I've been that, and that's why I actually stepped in a little bit of good luck getting that AP scope. But a friend of mine had 2 of them, and I saw it sitting under his couch for about 6 years, and it's still pristine. In the case, it's never even seen first light. I'm like, what do you do with this? He's like, well, I was thinking about selling it. I wasn't gonna, but if you want it, you can buy it. I said, really? I said, yeah. You mean I don't have to wait 7.5 years for a telescope? So he's like, no, you can have it right now. We'll pay it off. I said, okay. So I took it, and it's a great, beautiful scope. I just had to wait 6 months for the flattener because he was using it only for visual. So he wasn't an astrophotographer. So he was just a visual person, and it's one of those modular AP. Like you could take it and you put it in a little box like this big. You could put it on a plane or whatever if you wanted to, or use it as a carry-on bag. So it's that small. So you could do it in 3 different pieces.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So let me ask this also, because we're the eclipse is coming next month. It's really going through the U.S. and we have a lot of talk right now about solar imaging.
Yeah.
Do you are you interested in doing any solar imaging? Do you do any solar imaging with your setup right now, or anything like that? Or are you interested in doing something?
If you're inviting me to come over to watch the solar eclipse, I would be interested.
Come on down.
In the US, you had like 2 or 3, or how many solar eclipses?
Yeah, we've had 2 like within the past 7 years.
2017 we had the annular. 2017 we had the total, and then we had an annular, and then we got the next. But the next one we have is like I'm gonna be dead. So.
Yeah, the next one's like it's after this, and then like 70 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna be dead. I have a better chance of seeing the next Venus transit than seeing the next solar eclipse in the U.S.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I would. I did some solar imaging, Eric. I really have. I love that as well. And I think people are questioning like, hey, how should I image that upcoming solar eclipse? I see a lot of videos about that. Like, should I use my regular DSLR with a solar filter, or should I go for one of these smart telescopes you see behind me? And so, yeah, I think it's great to do some solar imaging. I've actually been testing out different kinds of setups on the sun, and yeah, you can go from affordable to super expensive also, of course. So I did some solar. I put, of course, a solar filter in front of my refractor telescope to look at some sunspots. But you can also go and get like a Daystar quark chromosphere, that kind of stuff, and then you see all these awesome solar flares and all that activity in the the chromosphere of the sun. So
the prominence. Yeah,
I saw somebody did
and so yeah,
somebody
I think it's a nice it's a nice extra you would get into when you already are into deep sky and planetary imaging or something. You want something extra, then solar is definitely a very nice way to go, I think. Yeah.
I'm interested. I think what I'm looking on buying. Well, I need a new lens anyway for my camera. For my what I use for the show, I use the Canon 6D Mark II, not the good one, not the Mark I, the 6D Mark II, which no one buys for astrophotography because of the noise problem. But I'm looking for a new lens for this to shoot the solar eclipse, and I'm looking at the like 4 to 5 to 600 millimeter kind of lens range, because I need a good zoom lens for my camera as well, because I don't have one. I have like a, I don't know, 50 to 200 or something, which is okay. But, when I'm on vacation, you want to take some pictures. It's going to be doing double duty, right? So if I want to throw this out to everybody, what would you consider a decent, maybe a decent lens to do this solar eclipse with?
Yeah. I got a Tamron 100 to 400.
Okay.
It's Tamron. Maybe it has another brand, I think, in the US.
Yeah, I know Tamron. Yep.
It's also Tamron. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like decent quality and like it's like price quality thing.
Yep.
And what I noticed then is because of course you have then I have like a crop sensor, so I got the full frame 400 sensor. Millimeters, but I think 600 millimeters. But then you have an issue because you need a very sturdy mount. I did some test shots last week.
Okay.
With the Tamron 400, and it was like what is it? How do you call that in English? Like 4x4. Like the wind was. We had these wind gusts.
Yep.
And my normal tripod was shaking, and I was taking like short exposure pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you're going to get a longer focal length lens, you need also sturdy tripod.
I was thinking about just bringing the Nix with me and just putting it up there, and throwing it. But I also have something called the Skywatcher Solar Quest, which I know.
I don't know that.
What?
I never used it.
Yeah,
I do have
I
like
haven't used it yet either. It's still in the box. I'm waiting for a not cloudy sky to kind of play with it. But you know, it's a you know, it's remember the older AZ GTI, the little kind
yeah.
of L kind of thing. What they did was they moved the bracket onto the other side and they put the HelioFind software in there where it's got built-in GPS and wireless where it's supposed to find the sun on its own. You just throw it out there and it finds it. It does GPS, knows where it's pointing, and knows
Oh,
the
cool.
altitude of the sun and kind of goes there. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to work well. I got to look at the weight because it's 11-pound max, just like the rest of those kind of things. So what is that? 5.5 kilos, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, we'll have to see because you know, the time run 1-400 might be pretty decent. I've seen it. It probably runs about $500-600 US, I think, something like that.
Yeah, it's like in the hundreds and not in the thousands.
Yeah, well, yeah. If I want to get like an art lens or something, but this is only for vacation and for the solar eclipse. That's it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm not going to spend $2,000 on a lens. I'm going to use like 2 times a year. You know, so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, so that's
And
why I
that's
did
basically
the
what I
10 on 100.
What
Sorry,
was that?
Eric.
No, I'm just saying that's basically, you know, like you're saying, you're gonna use it in a limited, you know, fashion. You know, use it for the eclipse. You know, maybe use it, you know, on vacation or something here and there. That's why probably I'm not going to make this super huge investment
Right.
myself personally, because I have a second mount. You know, I have a Celestron Advanced VX.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I have that. I'm just going to stick that out here, and I think I have like the little GPS module.
Yep. Yep.
So I may put that on there and just throw my refractor on here, put a lens a cover over it, and
That's
whatever
it.
I get, I get.
Yeah.
You can because you also have these star trackers, huh? I think like these star adventures, these kind of things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
like this guy,
Yeah.
little sky
like
hunter.
that thing. Yeah. So it's not so. Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to. Yeah, you do need to polar align them, of course. Still.
Yeah.
So I think when like smart telescopes could also be an option if you just want like a decent view of the sun and the solar eclipse. The C-Star S50 would do a decent job, I think, and just
You're going to see a
will
lot
not
of
provide you with
C-Star
the best
solar
picture.
eclipse. Yeah.
Sorry?
You're going to see a lot of pictures from the C-Star with the solar eclipse this year.
All orange.
Yep.
Yeah.
They will all be orange.
Yeah. Well.
They will be. They will be.
But yeah, but it is really easy, of course, to just because you don't need to figure out anything. That you just point it at the sun and it will keep on tracking the sun, and you can take some videos and
absolutely.
And photos. Yeah. I would say I think like Eric, I would just use my Celestron AVX with my refractor telescope and a solar filter, and then just do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just track
go
it.
for it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I, you know, because like we were saying, the next solar eclipse is. I'm probably not going to be here for it. We're not going to probably be here for it. Who knows?
No,
even if I am here for it, you know, they're going to have to wheel me out in a wheelchair or something.
Well, you could, you know, in all fairness, solar eclipses don't only happen in the United States. You know,
that's true. That's true.
There
but
will
if
be.
you want to travel.
Yeah, you could travel. You could do all that. There's plenty of. I know a guy from my astronomy club that I've seen. Total solar eclipses. He's seen 12.
Oh wow!
He's seen 12. He's traveled all over the world to see these things. So I mean, he's like one of those chasing kind of. You know, he loves it. He goes on those airplane flights. He's been on 2 of those where the airplane flies through totality.
Oh wow!
Cool. Dude, it's freaking cool. Amazing, amazing. That's got to be an experience. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I think also it is an experience like just not looking at the sun, but if you have the solar eclipse, just looking around you and looking at the darkening of the environment, right? And look how the animals respond and that kind of stuff. would also be awesome.
That is kind of crazy. Yeah, to see how the animals
Yeah.
respond to the eclipse.
It
That's
is
kind of
crazy.
interesting.
It is.
That's pretty interesting.
That's one of the things
Maybe
that
I would
really.
just point a regular camera, like just my normal DSLR at a nice nature site or something like that to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's that's one of that's probably the biggest thing that freaked me out during the eclipse in 2017, where I was in Greensville, South Carolina for that, and my wife and I, we traveled down there, and the two of the things that totally freaked me out was one, the silence that just happened. The birds were chirping 1 minute and then stopped. It was just, and the people got quiet too, which made it very eerie. So everyone's like, "Do you see that?" Like it's like the light of the sun, because it was gone. They think they need to be quiet. I don't know, because it's nighttime. I don't know. Whatever the case may be. And the second thing that freaked me out was the temperature drop. The temperature drop. It was like 86 degrees in Greensville when we were there. And then at the time of the eclipse, during totality, it dropped to about 63. So it dropped about 20 degrees in about a matter of a minute or two. It was like, it got really cold. You had sweat on your body because it was so hot, and the sweat gave you a chill because now you're cold, and then 2 minutes later you're sweating again. So it was like those two things kind of freaked me out. But if you want to go to the next eclipse after this, the next total eclipse will be August 12th, 2026. And wow, you know what? Maybe that's a good time. Maybe that's probably going to be a good
Where
trip.
will it be?
Iceland.
Iceland.
That's not too far.
Okay,
Greenland,
that's not too
Iceland,
bad.
Spain, Northeast Portugal. So
That's not too bad.
that might be a nice.
Northeast
That could
Portugal.
be a 15th wedding anniversary for my wife. We always wanted to go to Iceland.
Yeah.
It's in
That'd
August
be a fun
too.
trip.
It's in August, so it won't be that cold either. So
Yeah, because you fly into like Reykjavik or somewhere.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that would be kind of
no,
cool.
you know what you do? This is what you do. Out of New York, I already did this. You take a one-way cruise to Greenland, Iceland.
Oh yeah,
And then you fly
across the
back.
Atlantic.
Yeah,
Then you fly back.
that's what you do.
There you go.
Mm.
There
Hey,
you go. That's
I
a
love
plan.
getting
There's
a couple of beers on
Sounds
a
good.
boat. Yeah, it's great.
Speaking of beers, I did have a question here that I wrote down. It says
About beers?
It was, is there an astrophotographer on YouTube that you would like to meet in person for a beer?
Oh.
This
Sorry,
Wido.
is there an astrophotographer on YouTube which I would invite for a beer?
Is there an astrophotographer on YouTube that that you would like to meet in person for a beer?
Yeah, I think a lot of them, but I would say maybe Chuck from Chuck's Astrophotography.
Chuck's a lot of fun.
I started doing astrophotography in 2016, and he was one of the guys who was already on YouTube, and I think he's just such an authentic and of course I don't know him personally, but when I look at his videos, he's very authentic and just tells it like it is. And I also asked him one time to partner in a video about the EQ6R Pro, and I really liked it. He was really responsive and kind. So I would invite Chuck, but also I think Dylan O'Donnell, Trevor Jones, all these guys who I think they kind of inspired me to actually take that extra step and get started with astrophotography back in 2016. It just amazed me, like, hey, what are these guys doing in their backyard? Can they really see all that amazing stuff in the night sky? And I would definitely invite them, and I think all of you, of course.
Oh,
Other. I cannot keep track of all the astrophotography people and channels on YouTube.
I know it's crazy. But just a fun fact about Chuck and Chuck's astrophotography is that Chuck was the second guest on AstroWorld TV when it was its rendition of Cosmic Charlie and Declination Dan. This was, if you remember his videos way back, and if you go back, there was a time where he just didn't want to be on. He didn't want to show his face on. He was always
true. That's
the
how he
voice of
started out.
God behind the screen.
Yeah.
You know, and he was always like that.
Like sequence generator pro screen and the voice.
Yeah, and then the voice, right? So he didn't like that. So he obviously got over that, and then his channel exploded. But during that time, so our first interview with Chuck was via cell phone speakerphone on a recorded video. And we played that. That was me and Charlie way back when. The first guest on AstroWorld TV was actually Doug Struble. He's another astrophotographer from the same Detroit area as Chuck. Okay. So two big heavyweights that were one of the first guests that we had. So
Doug, I think he does solar with
he does a lot.
152. With his 152.
152.
I think he has the Explore Scientific 152, which, you know, and I've used one of those, and we were talking a little bit about these bigger refractors. That's the one thing I do like about a telescope like the 152 and even the 127. The Explore Scientific made these with carbon fiber to make them lighter. You know, versus some of the other traditional refractors that, if you had that same aperture and that same type of telescope, it could weigh, you know, maybe 25 pounds or so, or even more, versus, you know, something with the carbon fiber. It's easier to transport and move around at least. So I think the 152 is a great telescope personally.
And especially, I think for solar, if we were talking about solar, if you want to do some time lapses of solar flares and prominences and sunspot activity, you need really that bigger aperture to get these very detailed, high resolution time lapse videos. Because I've been doing it with my apochromatic, like 500 millimeter focal length telescope, but just like the moon, you know, you get a decent shot, but when you really want to zoom in, like if I want to image Copernicus crater or Montes Apenninus, something like that, the Apollo 15 landing site there, I always use the native focal length Edge HD to get to that really high resolution images. And I think you can do that also with a 150 refractor for solar imaging, I guess.
Well, apparently a lot of people want to have a beer with you, Wido, because it's going up and down the chat saying, I want to have a beer with Wido. So,
who wouldn't want to have a beer
in the Netherlands? We go to Belgium, okay? We go to Belgium because it's south of the Netherlands, a couple of 100 kilometers drive, and they have better beer than.
So we can go meet who is it? Ivo, right? Ivo Stoyanov down there, right? You know, so APT,
he's the developer of APT.
We have this very popular brand in the Netherlands called Heineken. Heineken, you call it.
My favorite.
People drink around the world, but the better beers are in Belgium.
Well, I'll take a Heine. That's okay.
There you go.
It's like the hamburger of beer. It's interesting because across the world, this is not astrophotography. Let's quit this. I wanted to say Heineken. Heineken is like being. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just want to say Heineken is being promoted as this big, high-quality beer across the world. But in the Netherlands, it's like the mass-produced kind of beer you only drink on Carnival or.
It's basically our equivalent of Keystone Light.
Yeah. Actually, maybe Pabst Blue Ribbon or something.
Maybe TBR then. Yeah, there you go.
Is that really like the affordable kind of stuff? Yeah.
Anyway.
No, we have a little thing that we do when we go off the rails like this, and I think now it fits the perfect time to do it. So I don't want you to freak out when it goes across the screen, but there you go. Off the rails. There you go. That's funny.
Oh my gosh. So let's see what else. Okay. We were talking about being in Belgium and in the Netherlands. Upcoming, this next month we have Dan and I are going to be at NEAF.
Yep.
Cool. Which is one of the larger astronomy forums here in North America. Is there any? Have you had a chance to attend anything similar in the Netherlands or around Europe that you've had a chance? Not yet. Is there one where you would like to have a chance to go to? Or?
Yeah, PAS.
I need to check the names because I know there is a pretty big
there's PAS
conference
in the UK.
Conference in the UK in London. There has been one in February. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, it's called PAS.
PAS, yeah. And in Germany they also have one each year.
Yep.
So I've been thinking about going there, but I don't think it is as big as in the United States, actually. I don't know if that's
PAS is actually pretty large. It's
pretty big.
It's not as big as AIC used to be. Unfortunately, AIC, which is with the advanced, was it Advanced Imaging Conference? I think it was.
I thought it was Astro Imaging Conference.
Astro Imaging Conference. And they actually stopped doing live conferences as of this year, unfortunately. But NEAF is still around, and that's the Northeast Astronomy Forum. And the 2 days before that is NEAC, which is the Northeast Astro Imaging Conference. So it's a 4-day kind of weekend, and people like George Helios from Hocus Pocus, Nico's doing a talk, Ron Breacher's doing a talk, Russ Croman is doing a talk. So I mean, it's a full. The last part of the weekend is more about seeing all the new toys. All the vendors are there. Celestron, Explore, Rainbow Astro. Everybody's there. Ioptron, ZWO.
Yeah, so that's a super big opportunity to talk to each other in person also, and just get to meet each other and see the latest developments.
And it's great when you
I've
sit
been
there.
to university conferences. It's totally different topic, but it's always nice to meet people in person. You only talk. We can talk like this, but would be not much nicer to be at a conference.
And that's why I've been traveling. I've been traveling all over. Last year, I traveled all over the country. Actually, all over 2 countries. I've been back and forth from the U.S. and Canada. So I went to Starfest in Canada.
Cool.
I was able to hang out with the two friends with Ron and Sean Nielsen. Plus, I was able to catch up with Trevor Jones and his wife, which was really nice. And then I got to hang out with Wayne Parker from Sky Shed. I got Eric a hat because he just got a Sky Shed pod, so I got him a hat. And then I was able to go down to, and not only that, and it's not only about meeting, these personalities that we know and love from YouTube or whatever, but seeing other people that you see that are fans of you. Like I was able to see Jason Pellegrini in the Nebraska Star Party. I was able to drive. I drove through to Eric's, over by Eric's house, and I went through a city called Lima, Ohio. And that was the place of a robbery. An astronomy observatory got robbed, and I was able to, with the help of all the members on Patreon and everything, we were able to make a donation to them, and I was able to drop off a full set of Explore Scientific 52-degree eyepieces to replace what they lost. And that was kind of cool, and seeing all these people all over the place. It's really nice when you go traveling and meeting them. I mean, Dave, I went down to DC and went to hang out with you for a beer or two at that bar when we did when you bought my 127.
When I bought his telescope.
Yeah. So I mean, my mother-in-law lived in DC. He's in the area, so we met for a beer and made the swap. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be. You know what? If I can have the opportunity next year, maybe to go to Starfest up north, I really want to go and hang out and meet with Wayne Parker, who is the owner of Skyshed Observatories, because I do have a Skyshed now. I can actually say, I am one of the few, in this, quorum that we're having right now that can say, yes, I actually have a backyard observatory. I actually have.
Rub it
I
in,
can say
Eric.
that.
Rub it in.
It just twisted in there a little bit, right? But you know what? It's great. And honestly, it's fantastic. It is definitely a game changer to be able to just go outside and open up the clamshell.
See, now that's the problem right there. You still got to go outside and open up the clamshell. You should have got
I'm fine with that right now. Hey, baby step. Everything's a baby
You should have got it fully motorized. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't control your dome with an ASIR. I'm
You know what?
sorry.
You know what? Do you even have one yet? Do you even have one yet?
I don't need one. I got telephone wires that cover up everything.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But see, you know what? You know who would really be, who would be awesome to have on here, and he would trump me? TJ.
Oh,
TJ Conley
we can
would trump me, because now he's got the Pod S.
Yep.
So he can talk about automation. Yeah, I can turn it here. I can turn the dome there.
Oh, trust me, TJ will be on. I know TJ lives about 3 hours north of me, so I mean, it's not that bad. I could go over to his house and do an interview, really, and just hang out. But but I know it's getting a little late over by you, isn't it? Or are you okay?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. No, I just want to say I don't want to keep you up all night. We could sit here and BS on this for hours. I mean, this is definitely a treat having you on, Wido.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, great to be here.
Well, you know what I want to do, Wido, and if you could say, and I've sent stuff to Gideon over in the Netherlands, so don't worry about shipping. But I want to send you something that we do every year for being a guest on the show. I want to send you our AstroWorld calendar, 2024 calendar. And this is actually populated with images that were made from all of our members that have won through the entire year of last year. Wow. So if you send me your address, I'll send you a copy of this, and we'll get it out to you. Might take 2 weeks to get there, but I mean, it'll get there.
I really appreciate it. I will put it here behind me on the wall.
No problem.
Cool.
Thanks. So I have one other question, because I know I don't want to always be respectful of time and everything. Wido, other than astrophotography and astronomy, is there outside of this, what do you enjoy doing? What do you,
okay.
Is there other things you enjoy doing? I know Dan, he plays. He's a musician. He's a musician.
I have to say, yeah, absolutely. And before I was completely involved in all of this, I played in a lot of local cover bands. I played the synthesizer and did some second voice singing in the we went to weddings, anniversaries. We played in bars. And we had different. I was in different bands, so crazy Tex-Mex kind of carnival-esque bands where we played some weird, party music.
Hey.
To the more classic weddings where we play a nice We Are Family kind of music.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
So yeah, I really like and some running and bicycling, just staying fit and healthy. Sorry, I'm trying to lose some weight actually.
I think we all are.
Corona crisis, I added about 10 kilos. Sorry.
Yeah,
I think we're all trying to lose a little bit of weight.
Yeah, we all are. Yeah.
We're all about that age where kind of weight starts. You're kind of like the same weight, but it's just moving in different places that they weren't there before.
Yeah.
It used to be in the thighs, which you didn't mind so much. Now it's in the belly, and so. I want to show you.
It's all the good beer. It's all the good Belgian wheat. beer and stuff
You're
like that.
enjoying life. Yeah.
I'm telling
Totally.
you. I'm just looking for a quick
Awesome.
picture here.
Yeah.
We got any more questions in the chat?
I'm looking here right now. There's not many other questions right now in the chat. And we've been like all of my in-between questions just to keep things going are pretty much all covered and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Unless
I
ask?
was going to show you guys a picture. Let me show you this picture because
Yeah.
Eric was talking about how light those carbon fiber telescopes are.
Oh yeah, sure.
If you look here, let's see if I can get to it. Share screen. There it is.
Not yet.
There we go.
There we go.
So that's the carbon fiber telescope. But
Wow.
you put that Nightcrawler on there, all that. It's taken all three weights and the extension bar of that EQ6 to keep it balanced.
And not for nothing, I think you actually had to put the extension on there. I think
I did. Yeah, it took the extension bar too.
You had to get the weights further down to do that. You are almost at the max on that, I think. So
pretty close, but
yeah.
it still tracks 0.4.
There you go. There you go.
So I can't argue with that.
Nice and nice.
That's it. That is it. Awesome.
Yeah. And I'll just show you a little picture real quick. It has nothing to do with astrophotography, but there you go. That's
there you go.
That's me in 1991 with my Rickenbacker playing bass at a bar. Yep, absolutely. I still have that guitar too.
Yeah.
I love that
I
guitar.
still have four of mine.
Nope, that's the last guitar I have left. And I used to sing and have the whole what is it, the Ron Jeremy handlebar mustache that I had going on. But yeah, I know it's coming up to about 10 o'clock over there. Usually this is about the time when we kind of do some final thoughts. If we don't have any more questions on the chat, Eric, have you been monitoring that at all? Because
I have. Yep, I have been. Yeah, I have been. And,
there is actually one by Mr. B actually that just came up.
Okay.
Question for the panel: how do you think availability of low-cost robotic telescopes will affect the hobby?
Are we robotic? Are we talking?
Scary question. Scary.
Are we talking? Are we talking the like the Sea Star?
Yeah. Yes.
Low-cost
robotic.
They will keep on getting better. So the next generation will have the bigger sensors, I think. So you will be able to take like larger field of view pictures. I think the automated stacking will be getting better all the time. There will be mosaic and panorama images possible with smaller sensor size telescopes. Will we see some cooling? I was actually thinking the main issue is, of course, the LS mount,
right?
The rotation. But if you would instead of buying an EQ computerized equatorial mount, if you would develop a camera rotator for that.
Yeah, you have it inside where it just rotates the chip even,
Yeah. So I think that might be a next iteration step they are willing to take.
I think we're all still waiting for, at least a lot of people are still waiting, and have constantly asking me, because at NEAF last year, and now we're coming up on NEAF 2023, ZWO launched their CAA, which is a camera angle rotator, right? And or camera angle adjuster, they called it, if I remember right. And we're still waiting for it to come out in retail, and we're still waiting for it. I'm hoping that maybe it comes out probably by end of second quarter, maybe. still a lot of people now speaking of ASI Air and CAA and stuff like that, I don't know if you've heard about this, and I'm sure a lot of people have, because I believe that Queeve made a video on this regarding the Tube Tech Astro Station. I don't know if you've heard about it. Have you heard about this?
I heard about I heard about StellarMate, that kind of stuff.
It's a StellarMate kind of stuff, but it's at the price point of an ASI Air, where it's $400. That it's still on prototype, so it's going to be out by the end of the year. But it's still on prototype, and I'm actually supposed to be getting a prototype at the end of this month. So basically it's an ASI Air Raspberry Pi. Not an ASI. It's a Raspberry Pi with the capability of running pretty much whatever you want that's ASCOM driven. So any camera you want. Well, that's what they said about the StellarMate Pro 2.
That's all the time.
Sooner or later it's going to come out.
A lot of it depends on the friendly interface, and if it really like the thing that makes the ASI Air a preferred choice for many people, despite the fact that they have to buy ZWO cameras, of course, because you cannot run any others, is I think the really like the touch-based, pretty user-friendly and understandable interface they have.
Yeah, it's really neat.
It doesn't have a lot of fatal flaws, I think. So you can, like, photo alignment works every time.
Yep.
I also have, for instance, with the Dwarf, maybe I should, with the Dwarf 2, that software, they have it's more general purpose kind of telezoom lens, and you have an astrophotography mode, but it's not super well developed, so sometimes it just goes crazy. And when that happens a lot, when your camera keeps disconnecting, or you just can't get your rig up and running, that is, I think that will be very important when you are going to develop these smart devices. Like, can a user just switch it on? Will it immediately recognize your camera? Will it have an interface that is really easy to use, and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I think there is, I mean, I literally have I have 2 or 3 of them. One of them's right here hiding in the back.
I love this thing.
So
I love it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I still have a bone to pick with these guys. I really do. Please, can you just put a driver out there that says Pegasus Nix 101 and that has full functionality, please? I know you don't like each other. I saw the Cloudy Night stuff, and last year with the whole Chinese New Year and making a mistake in the driver, and it didn't work, and went on vacation for 2 weeks. But just do me a favor. I have customers that want to use your product, but want to be able to use their Nix because of the higher, or do yourself a favor, come out with a 20 kilo payload capacity AM7 or whatever.
I even told that, I even mentioned that to you like a week or 2 ago. It was like, why don't they just build an AM7?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
That has a 20 kilo payload. Yeah. That's gonna be flying off the shelves just as much as the AM5 and AM3 and everything like that. So just think about it, guys. I mean, it's like, Sam, do me a favor. Think about it. Let me help you. I'm talking to you, Sam, right now. ZWO. Let me help you. I love this damn thing. I just need a heavier payload. Just need a heavier payload.
Well, in all fairness, the ASI Air does not. You can use any mount you want.
I think so. Right? You have like the EQ mod kind of drivers. They are in the ASI Air pod. I think
you can use whatever you want.
For now.
You just can't use the Pegasus Nix. That's and that's not even true. You can use it, but there's a workaround for it. There's there's a workaround. You got to use on-step electronics drivers and that kind of stuff. So, and it works sometimes. It's not as functional as it could be.
And the thing that I love that's really cool about the AM5 that I'll be honest that's really been alluring to me has been the price point. They priced it well.
Well, in all fairness, if you want to get out of the realm of this, all you gotta do is go buy a Melee anyway. You get it for $299, $300 anyway. You know what I'm saying? And you can go that route.
Too. I got that too right here.
and if you're crazy like me, you could get one of these.
Yeah.
So,
That's also nice.
Because the reason is because the reason why I've gotten away from this and moved on to this is because of this man that's right over here, and he's convincing me to like start getting stuff like this. Here, hold on. I got it right here.
See, he's realized this other product people that make stuff
like this. He likes stuff like that. you know, or the Asado, stuff like that, because they're awesome.
Yeah.
And
but they're from different brands.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, right? We don't.
But I think because you have this also with iOS versus Android, right? And so you will have this open space where people, you want to integrate all kinds of different like tools to be working together. And you have some software developers that are aiming for that. But there's also something to be said. Why is everybody still walking around with those iPhones, Sometimes it's also nice to create this more closed loop system. And I know it's limited, but it is very reliable and it works.
Yeah, exactly.
So, It would be great to have everything. We need different kind of options as consumers, and then we can just make our own decision.
Absolutely.
What to go for, right?
You are very right there, Wido.
Absolutely. Right. But it is a good product and it works. If somebody compared this to what? Though somebody said in there. Somebody compared this. I believe it was this to a gateway drug. And so you get this and you work with it, you play it, and then you finally find out there's something better out there, like a Nightcrawler or a rotator that's out there, or something and then you find out that their mounts are better, and all this kind of stuff, and now you're like, oh my god, I could, I'm struggling here. But you know what? A lot of people do get a lot of good results with this, an EAF, a scope, and whatever mount they want. A lot of people do get a lot of good results with it, so you can't really bash it. It is easy. No, I know you're not. I'm just saying in general,
and planetary imaging is also a little bit limited on that thing.
It's getting better though. It's getting better.
They're all making improvements.
Higher FPS.
Yeah. Well, that's what. Again, you got to make sure you get the right kind of camera for that. You know what I mean? So so you get something that runs at 600 by 480 at 270 frames per second. Then you're okay, right? Oh man, cool.
Okay, well I'm done with my rant. I know it's getting late, but Wido, I so appreciate you coming
for having me, guys.
No, thank you for coming on. And
real pleasure. Real nice to talk to you. Thanks.
When this shuts off, if you want to stick around and give me your address, this will still run in the background, not live. Or if you just want to email it to me, that's fine too. That's fine. But
okay.
But thank you so much for coming on. I don't think why don't we do a little quick final thoughts and we can let Wido go to bed.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I know it's been a Saturday, everybody. We really appreciate you guys coming on. Wido, again, thank you so much for your time coming on. It's been a blast having you. Hey, maybe if you're so inclined, maybe Dan, you can talk some maybe Astropalooza later this year if you're also interested, something like that. But again, it was a great show, really great interaction. Thank you so much to our viewers in our membership, for the questions you've asked and everything like that. Hope you guys got a lot of fun out of this. I know I did. And I won't be here on Wednesday, but I'll be back on Friday. But then I'll see you guys then. So you guys have a great weekend ahead.
Awesome. Dave?
Awesome.
Basically, yeah. Thanks, Wido, for coming out and hanging out with us. It was a pretty good way to spend a rainy, cruddy Saturday here. So, wasn't like typically this would be my golf day, but not today. So, but thanks for sharing your experience with us and, going through your thought process on how you do it and why you do it. It's awesome to know you're out there, and I love your content on your videos. They're fun to watch. So just keeping it up. It's awesome.
Yeah.
No,
guys, thank you for the kind words. And Dan, sorry.
No, it's your turn. Go right ahead.
Oh, no. So thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And I think super informative to meet other guys who are also enjoying the hobby, and we learn so much from each other. So having this kind of interaction and sometimes going off the rails, that's really, really nice way to learn more in a positive way. So really great to be here, despite the time difference and the 10 o'clock, but no problem.
Oh.
So if you want to have me back, then just let me know. We can do some more stuff. If you want.
Maybe we could. We'll work on December and see if you want to come on do a presentation for Astropalooza.
Yeah.
Hey, cool.
Great. Would be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. It's a lot of fun. And we do a lot of giveaways and everything. It's pretty cool. But all right, everybody.
For 8 hours, huh?
It's 8 hours. Yeah. It's 8 hours. Yeah. So
heroes.
We do. Hey, you know what? We did it the first year. The first year, I thought it was a joke. I said, "Why don't we don't have NEEF. It's the middle of COVID. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody's going out. We got to do something. There's nothing. So why don't we just do this thing?" And I'm going to call it Astropalooza. So me and Eric got together and thought about some people to just get in contact. I've already was friends with the Masters of Pix Insight and Sean Nielsen. So I was able to get that year. I was able to get Amy Astro, Charles Bracken, Dr. Christian Sass for my telescope. Who else? I'm forgetting.
Astro,
Amy Molly. Astro Molly.
Astronomolly, yeah, from Molly Wakeling.
Yeah.
So I was able to get a bunch of people, and that was, I ended off with a shot of whiskey because I was so tired. I just did it on, and now it's a thing. Everybody watches it to take the shot of whiskey at the end. So it's like, but it's a lot of fun. It's very informative. It is more presentation type of thing. So it's like, it's not a one-on-one. It's more of like, talk about what you want to talk about for a half an hour, and then we go on, but it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy doing it, even though it's a long day. So, and as long as Eric doesn't have an Army Navy game, again, because that's usually.
You know what? You need to really think about scheduling that a little bit earlier or later, then, man. I'm just saying.
Earlier or later, what you. Earlier or later.
Earlier, either a different.
It's 8 hours. What do you mean earlier or later?
I'm just saying the Saturday before or the Saturday after.
Saturday before is no good. Saturday before is no good because it's Thanksgiving. Saturday after.
I didn't have a problem with that.
my wife's got a problem with that.
So last year I had to watch from the dreaded Dominican Republic.
Yes, you were, and you were sending us pictures.
Here. Yeah.
But yeah, so hey.
Shut up, Dave.
Shut up, Dave. Awesome. All right, well, Wido, if you're not doing anything next Wednesday and you're up till about 3 o'clock in the morning, we do have George Helios coming on from Astro, the creator of Hocus Focus on Nina. So he's going to come on and hang out. Following that, on the 20th, right before the eclipse, we have Alan Friedman, who is the wonderful astrophotographer doing a lot of solar is going to be coming on from joining us from upstate New York. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. And if you're so inclined, Wido, it's always on YouTube. So if you ever want to skim through the videos, you're more than welcome. So they're all up there. But I want to say thank you seriously for coming on and hanging out with us and sharing your journey through this wonderful thing we call astrophotography, through all the ups and the downs that we all have. But thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, guys. It was really fun to be here.
All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. You got another Saturday, Sunday, so go enjoy yourself. And remember, as always, to keep imaging and keep educating and clear skies. And we'll see you Wednesday night. Have a good night, everybody.